Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Julie, it's the J-Team, it's November 22nd. This is our 222nd episode.
That's a lot of twos.
Yep, 1122222.
It's too many twos.
Yes.
It's too many twos.
Yes. But anyway, so if you joined us last week,
hang on.
All right.
I know you'd like to crow, but I would rather eat humble pie.
Well, humble pie is delicious, so.
So they tell me. So, if you tuned in last week, it pains me to say this, but Jim was right.
And then I was right again this morning.
It's not Cretaceous, it's Cretaceous.
No, because Cretaceous is what dinosaurs used to brush their teeth. But anyway.
Is it also what dragons use to brush their teeth?
Well, dragons don't exist, so they can't brush their teeth.
Dragons don't exist, eh? I think you're sitting beside one right now.
Yes. So basically, the whole thing was that Julie had to wear a silly hat.
Tune into last week's episode. Watch that. You can find out what happened.
Yes.
For the record, though, Cretaceous.
Yes. Not Crustaceous. It's Cretaceous. Anyway, so let's get to some comic book reviews, shall we?
Yes,
With
I
your
believe
very
so.
silly hat, who I will name Bob.
Bob. I suppose being blue, he looks like a Robert. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But alright, I can dig it. So, up first for me this week was Superbia. Superbia opens up with a very domestic scene involving a young lady and her boyfriend, and she's accusing him of cheating on her and sleeping with somebody else while they were together. What's special about her boyfriend is that he happens to be an extraordinarily powerful Superman, Ozymandias type superhero. Cut to spending the book with Hella Hart and her neighbors in Superbia. It's a group of superheroes. They all live on one block in one town in the suburbs. And you spend most of the book seeing their everyday life. It was kind of neat. The art, I felt, could have...
Subpar at best.
It could have been better, I felt. I also really felt as though a lot of these characters were kind of Watchmen ripoffs.
They felt very much so.
There were a few that I sort of looked at and said, I don't know that much about The Watchmen. I've seen the movie, but this really feels a lot like The Watchmen. So, if you liked The Watchmen and you would like to see them in their everyday lives, pick up Superbia.
Or, just read The Watchmen because it shows them in their everyday lives. But anyway...
Or you can see it in color in Superbia.
It's in color in The Watchmen. Anyway, on with the show. It's Judge Dredd #1. And this one, in Mega City 1, something is causing robots and androids to make decisions on their own. And the city begins falling into chaos that not even Dredd may be able to handle.
Robots who can think for themselves?
Yep. Anarchy.
Hang on. One quick question.
Quad.
Were there any tall, muscly guys who said, I'll be back?
No.
Then we should be safe.
Yes. But, alright, so this is the new Judge Dredd series for the US market. This is the first time in almost, I'd say 20 plus years that an actual Judge Dredd comic has come out in the American market from an American publisher.
Wow.
So, it's something of a landmark. Now, it's not the greatest Judge Dredd story. Those are still with the British publications, mind you, and with everything else that they do with Judge Dredd. But this was not a bad premiere for a new American story arc. So, art-wise, it's not that great, but you do get used to it as it goes on. As for the story, it's okay. It's just very predictable at points. So it's not the best Judge Dredd stuff, but if you can't get the other Judge Dredd stuff, well, this is available to you now, so you have options. So if you are a Judge Dredd fan and you like the movie or the other movie, then pick this one up. And I guarantee there is no Rob Schneider.
Just bad costumes?
Yeah, just bad costumes.
Book 2 for me is Comeback. Comeback is a primarily Canadian team on it. And
doesn't he come into the store, I believe?
The illustrator, Mike Walsh,
Yep.
frequents the Comic Connection. So,
Hey, Mike, if you see us.
It's also his premiere into mainstream comics. So, welcome, Mike. And in
Yes,
Comeback...
Mike, welcome to hell.
In Comeback, a company...
Let's hope you get paid on time.
A company named Reconnect sends agents back in time to save people. The catch is that they only have about 65 days, it seems, to be able to go back and do anything. There's a very definitive time frame that they can act in. It was an interesting thought on the story, and I would really like to see some of the sketch work for the book. But it looks to me and to a couple of other people who've looked at it.
The colors are very, very off, and it doesn't really work very well for the book.
Right.
As Julie was saying, I personally would like to see the pencils or the
Pencils
inks.
be great.
Or
Yeah.
the inks for this book.
Mike, I'd love to see them.
Actually think it probably look better that way. But, not a bad job by Mike with the art. Mm-hmm. There are some needs of improvement, but it's not bad at all.
I think, Mike, that you've done a great job for your first foray with mainstream comics. I am looking forward to seeing what else Mike does.
Good luck, Mike. Alright, next up we have Clone number 1. And in this one, Dr. Luke Taylor's perfect life comes to a halt when a severely injured identical version of himself arrives at his doorstep, warning that he is only one of many clones, and a good number of them will be after him and his pregnant wife.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah!
What did this guy do to deserve this?
That's not explained, nor is it explained how these clones come to be. So, you do have to read on in this series to actually figure out what's really happening. Now, the art in this is okay. Some of the art in this looks very wood grainish with the toning and...
the stippling?
Yeah. And it works to a certain point. Some of the panels it really doesn't work, but other than that, I mean, it's okay. The story is nothing special. We've seen the clone thing many a time. So, really, there's nothing too new here, story-wise. But what you'll really want to read this for is probably the characters, because that's its best gift to the reader.
This seems like it's entirely character-driven from what you've said.
It's very much so, and that's a good thing. Because if you don't have good characters, you don't have a good story. Mm-hmm. And this one has pretty good characters that are interesting and likable, so I enjoyed reading it. Yeah, the art is a little off in places, but it still works. So if you want to check out a clone saga that might be worth more than the Clone Saga, check this one out.
Alright, third on the chopping block for me this week, Captain America number 1 from Marvel Now. Wait, Jim, is it just me, or does this show seem to be dragging on to you? No sense of humor. Anyways, Captain America.
You try reading comics for 222 weeks and see if you have a sense of humor.
Okay.
Alright.
Invitation accepted. Captain America, after saving Manhattan from a group of crazy hippies intent on saving the planet by returning it to its natural green state, finds himself in Dimension Z, facing the Arnim Zola and responsible for a baby.
Okay.
Yeah. It was an interesting read. The fact that Marvel did not maintain telling us our time frame was a little off-putting. You open it up and you're told the city, the year, month, day, everything. A couple of pages later, when you finally get to see Captain America in action, they don't let you know that it's, 70 years later or however many years later. They just carry on with the story. So that was a little confusing and a little off-putting for me. But the more I think about it, the more I mull the story over, I'll probably read number 2 just to find out what the deal is with the baby.
Yeah. As for the art in the book, it's not too terrible.
I didn't mind the art at all.
No, it works pretty well.
I mean, it's a good book. It's a quality Captain America. I really, really am enjoying the Marvel Nows because you can come into a new storyline, and they didn't throw all of the backstory that they've spent years and years creating.
A certain other company that starts with D and ends with C. But anyway.
No comments. But anyways, Captain America and Marvel Now #1. It's a good read.
Alright, next up, we have The Adventures of Augusta Wind, #1. In this one, Augusta Webster thought she was an ordinary girl, but that was before she met the Snabbit, a half-snake/rabbit creature that has revealed to Augusta her world is anything but normal.
Rewind.
Yes.
A Snabbit?
Yes, a Snabbit.
How does it not eat itself?
I know, eh? It's technically on the food chain of itself.
Yes.
So.
Why? Ow.
Alright. So, this one is okay. This is an all-ages story from the creator of A Bad As Ad. So, which I really, really enjoyed a couple years back when that was released. Now, the art here is the sticking point for some. To me, it's very Mike Ploog-esque. And I know you don't know who Mike Ploog is, so that's okay.
I looked through it. And...
I will expose you to Mike Ploog later. But it also reminded me of a series from the 90s called Creed by Trent Canonuga, which is long since been out. But I enjoyed it. The art is bouncy. It's pretty much all over the place, and it seems to work for it. Now, a lot of people don't like this type of art, and I kind of join in with those people, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. And it certainly does work to expose the characters and their situations better. So, I enjoyed this one. It's a very good all-ages story, and it's from the creator of Bad As Ad, so you can't really go wrong. So check this one out if you have some kids and you want a really interesting new fairy tale to tell them.
Or if you're just secretly a big kid yourself, you should still check it out.
Like me.
And me. So.
I'm not the one wearing a dragon hat, though.
See? Big kid, right here. Mm-hmm. Last on the chopping block for me, Marvel Now, Indestructible Hulk #1. And it was a very, very interesting read. In this one, resigned to his fate as the Hulk, scientist Bruce Banner approaches S.H.I.E.L.D. with a proposition. Hire me, give me the lab space that I need, the inadequate support and a decent budget, and I will make magic, create miracles for you. I could create the world's water pollution a solution to the water pollution problem in a day or so. I am brilliant up there with Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic. And when I happen to Hulk out, point me in the right direction. That's their benefit. You get the Hulk. However, S.H.I.E.L.D. director Maria Hill isn't quite sure how she feels about this. And Bruce Banner has to audition.
Really? Bruce Banner has to audition?
The Hulk has to audition. It was pretty great. I really enjoyed it.
I can only imagine how that works.
It was good. He happened to figure out a tactical assault that they were about to plan, or that they were planning, told her that they were doomed to fail, and fixed the problem. I really liked it. I really enjoy Bruce Banner as a character, and I feel as though they are really doing some fantastic things with the character after everything that happened with AVX. So, if you like...
a lot happened with AVX.
If you like the Hulk, or if you enjoy intelligent characters, such as Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic, I really think you should pick up and give Indestructible Hulk #1 a chance, because you might be surprised like I was.
Alright, and last for this week is Baltimore the Play. And in this one, a mad playwright puts on a show, and the actors are real vampires.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
Yep. The financier finds out the playwright is a fraud, and the true author is a famous American author who lies below the stage with a disembodied head kept in a glass jar.
I feel as though this is something that I should be aware of, and as though it probably ties into BPRD somehow, but I'm not gonna lie, my exposure, because I think you're going Hellboy from when I flipped through.
Well, it's from Mike Mignola, who does Hellboy, and it's Michael Golden and a couple other creators, so it's got the Hellboy vibe going for it, which is really great. But it's also a connection to Edgar Allan Poe, because he's the author. Which, sorry, spoilers, but it's very important to the plot. But the play is based off of his works. So it's played by real vampires, and he's in love with a vampire, and there's a whole lot of plot here, and I'm not really giving away too much because I don't want to. Yeah, I'm giving away that it's Poe, but you find that out pretty much right from the beginning if you're smart enough.
If you're familiar with Poe, you won't be surprised.
You'll know.
Good rhyme.
Yes, but I enjoyed this. I really did.
I liked the art.
The art is beautifully done. This is some really great work from the artists here. It's not Mignola, but Mignola does the story, and he probably did some layouts, so it really works on the level that a Hellboy book would, and that's a good thing. Story-wise, it's good. It's, of course, based off the words of Edgar Allan Poe, so he got a lot of really good stuff working for it there.
Apparently, he was a good writer.
Oh, it's the things I have to teach you. But, yeah, if you are an Edgar Allan Poe fan or a Hellboy fan, this is a must-not-miss book. So go out, check this one out. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's really well worth a read. So check that one out. Alright, so we've come to the end of another show. Julie can take off her dragon hat if she so chooses. I doubt she will. But next week, join us for something a little different with our show. We're going to be having some ponies on the show. See you next week.